Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Harley Quinn. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Obviously, the Justice League is free and everything. They're out there kicking some serious ass. I even love that, Superman's Beehive coming up, and then Bruce is like, no one asked for that. Like, he was saying a setup to something no one even asked for, whatever the case may be. I love that being a bit in the episode where he's just kind of like making puns and stuff like that. At one point, he was just like, oh, I guess Ivy should have hedged her bet. And so nearby people are just like, eh. I'm like, I loved it. It's like, I love how, like a little stupid they make him a little bit. Just I like this interpretation of him just being kind of a little showboaty like that and stuff like that. I love it. But nevertheless, Ivy and Harley having to fight. Luckily, Kite Man gets there in time to save Harley from the whole situation. I even love Joker making jokes about, like, the fact of the matter is, he's like, violence is kind of like basically the cornerstone of their relationship too, so it's almost like nostalgic seeing them fight. And I love that he's literally not in the rest of the episode because he's, it's like, he's with his family now, so it's kind of like, I'll let all that stuff that's happening go down. Like, it's not like I need to get involved. I mean, he's all about chaos anyway, so it's like, it's not my problem to deal with. I'm home, I'm just gonna chill and relax type of situation. So there's that. There's a situation where they're trying to find Psycho, and I love Wonder Woman asking the parademon, and it doesn't say it says something, but she can't understand. So she turns to Clark, Superman. Superman's like, oh, I get it. Because it's an alien, you just assume because I'm an alien, I know all alien languages. And she's kind of still looking at him. He's like, well, yes, I know a little parademon, but it's still racist of you to assume. And he was like, be better. And she's just rolling her eyes. I love that. But nevertheless, obviously, Sai is actually still alive because Kite Man and Harley have to work together because they plug in his eye. And it's like, wait, Morse code? He was like, well, yeah, because people have to, kiters need to learn it too and stuff like that. And she's just like, I can't believe Ivy has sex with you. He's like, I know, kind of like, it's awesome, isn't it? But basically, Sai helps them manufacture a similar device that was inside of him that made it so that Psycho couldn't control him. So also, it's super sick that Sai's still alive and everything. I love, she's like, oh, Sai. And he's like, oh, I know, I had to let out a big sigh after all this. She's like, no, as in Sai. So Kite Man has to put all the technology together to make it possible. And it just looks like a whole bunch of random tech pieces, which is interesting because we find out later on they basically end up being Bluetooth headphones. It's all it really took. I guess that's just a more easier way and compact way to kind of utilize them. But regardless, there's also the thing with Psycho wanting to go through people's embarrassing memories, so he goes into King Shark's, and King Shark's embarrassing memory was him brutally murdering his brother, because it's his brother started bleeding, his smell of blood sent him into overdrive, and he ended up killing his brother. It's like, Jesus, you killed your brother. And even Psycho was like, holy crap, I was expecting you maybe shit your pants or something like that. It's like, holy crap, I wasn't expecting, that's super dark. I was like, holy crap. It's so interesting I guess you were looking for something embarrassing, but for King Shark to consider that embarrassing, I guess maybe that's a shark thing, but I guess the line between embarrassing and tragic kind of go hand in hand in that regard. I also love, because obviously the thing is too, Harley's worried because it's the Justice League, in particular Superman, is going to end up killing Ivy, so she has to get, and she takes Kite Man's thing, and he's like, it took years and stuff to be able to learn how to, never mind, there she is maneuvering it perfectly. It's gotta make you feel a little bad that the fact of the matter is you want to act like your whole kite thing is so special. And once again, it's so sad. Once again, I just love that Kite Man, I guess even in the comic books, they must treat him like a joke. Like I said, this whole joke about Kite Man, like I said, has only become a recent thing for me because of, Collider Live, because that was a whole bit about Kite Man and Condiment King, and obviously that ended up being a thing in this, so I guess even in the comic books, they're the Z tier villains and stuff like that. Regardless, so there's that whole situation. The Justice League showing up to try and go after him, and then it's Ivy's fighting, so is King Shark and Clayface. And I love Batman being like, don't worry about King Shark doesn't like violence. Clayface is kind of an idiot. And it's just like, didn't he like go like ham? And he's like, well, looks like I was wrong. Okay. And it's just like, I even love when Harley shows up later on. She's like, what the hell, Clayface? You could do this the whole time, but you turn into like all the stupid characters he does. And it's like, you could have been like some badass villain the entire time. We've been following your character for 2 whole seasons, and this is when you bring out the real badass shit. I think that's so interesting. And even obviously Ivy is fighting with the whole thing of fighting with new stuff. I even love Harley being like, don't do that. Like, I love her. And the fact of the matter is, Wonder Woman, while you were away, we literally saved Themyscira from Lex Luthor, which is like, right, don't forget that. But she's like, get out, don't get in my way, clown, or you'll suffer the ramifications. And then like she ends up attacking her, and Wonder Woman ends up cutting her face with her own sword. And she's like, damn it, Harley. Also, I'm curious, is that supposed to be a pun on the TV? Because the news was like, oh, please, remain calm. Like, I don't know whether that was supposed, like, it was it's like, I don't know if that's, I think that's, isn't that supposed to be, I don't know if that's how you spell his name, Black Mask, because that's his real name, Roman. I don't think it's spelled like that, but maybe it was supposed to be a pun in that regard. Whatever the case may be, that's what I was like, oh, because that's not remain, it's like Roman. So I was like, is that what that's supposed to be a pun for, or whatever? Regardless, I also love that bit from when they end up on top of Wayne Tower, because it's like, oh, and Harley's like, okay, like we don't have to do some like great battle or anything like that. And then Bruce is like, Batman's like, yeah, exactly. Wayne Tower sustained enough damage. Plus, Bruce Wayne, he doesn't, having metahuman battles don't kind of fall into the scope of his insurance. And Wonder Woman's kind of looking, he's like, he's a friend. I was like, I love like that little. Once again, I love that you have it. It's interesting, like, in the grand scheme of things, this kind of almost being a Justice League episode. I like that a lot. Which makes you wonder, like, where the hell is, Flash and Green Lantern? I guess they have their own business to take care of, but it's like, we only saw, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman in this fight. Regardless, I love the, I guess that must mean, like, the others must not know who he is then. Like his secret identity, which is interesting. I mean, I guess, that's a whole thing. I guess everyone's kind of kept their secret identity from each other within this continuity. It's just interesting to think about. But Superman's like, no, we're not going to kill Ivy. The fact of the matter is we're just going to send her to the Phantom Zone, so she'll be there for like all eternity. And it's like, well, if you're going to send her, send me. And he's like, oh, okay. And I love Psycho's taking control of Ivy, and he's like, oh, this is so dramatic. It's like a CW show if the cast was less hot. I was like, I love that, because I love that constantly being like a bit about the CW. It's like, oh, nothing but like hot young people. That's always like the stereotype that kind of gets used about the CW, which I always think that's kind of a funny bit, because at the same time you're like, when you look at the cast of a lot of CW stuff, you're like, those are some handsome people, so you're like, it kind of fits. But nevertheless, then it turns out like he had used Ivy's like love potion or whatever, and then like Batman and Wonder Woman, which I'm like, hey, I wonder have they been a thing, because I not well versed in comic books, but I've heard that's been a thing. I've also heard, I could be mistaken, I think Wonder Woman and Superman have been a thing in certain continuities, haven't they? At some points in the comic books. I think that was something I'd learned about, like some of the people he's ever, like, because I was looking up like a while back, I was looking up stuff about Superman, and I think that was like some of like his love life included like Wonder Woman at some point. I think they even had a kid or something in some continuity, right? I could be mistaken. But that's happening, and even Harley being grossed out by it, like, oh, well, weird. So there's that. Then there's like Superman, he's flexing and telling Harley to touch his pecs and everything. It's like, and obviously Psycho's doing all this because he's trying to, get on Darkseid's good graces. It's kind of like, you have until a certain amount of time to give me Harley Quinn's head. And I love that he's like, oh, I got something else up my sleeve. And then like Riddler was like, oh, 2 short arms. He's like, damn you. Like the fact that he was like, I was trying to think of like a Wesley Snipes quote until he's like, Wesley Snipes, when's the last time you watched a movie? I'm like, oh, come on. Darkseid shows up, and I love that him and Psycho are just having some random conversation about like the stores that are in the mall and everything. And it's like, oh, Harley Quinn's here, and he's like, you know what would be delicious? The fact of the matter is to have these two duke it out, because not only are they best friends, they're secret lovers. And Harley's like, you knew? He's like, you think I wouldn't take control of Ivy's mind and not take a deep dive? She's like, we're not secret lovers. I mean, she's basically like, we've banged it out a couple times and it was amazing, but it's not secret lovers. He's like, whatever. And I love Darkseid being like, oh, you know, evil conquering, you know, usurping love is kind of, you know, really good. And it's like, oh, look at you using the big words. But nevertheless, luckily, Kite Man had gotten there in time to, you know, give the device to Harley. And he's like, the fact of the matter is, if this doesn't work, we got to use this if my plan doesn't work. And what's his plan? True love's kiss. And he tries to use it on Ivy, but it doesn't work. And which you're probably like, oh, that sucks even more. But the fact of the matter is, you know, Harley and Ivy have to duke it out. And at the last minute, Harley's like, oh, I'm just gonna have to like try it, you know, true love's kiss. And she kisses her, and then Psycho's like, whoa, girl on girl action. And like, basically he gets a hard on. He's like so hot, which it does work symbolically. And I think it also because it distracted him enough to break the spell. But it's like, I would have liked to have seen whether or not it would have had like a once upon a time moment, whether it would have been like a breaking of the spell type of situation. But regardless, I even love, rather being like, damn it, Psycho, focus. But now it's like neither one of them could be controlled. And he's like, I'm an all-powerful man. And within literal seconds, they took him down. And it's like, yeah, without being able to control anybody, you were kind of powerless. They kicked your ass like it was nothing. Smashed the helmet and everything. And Darkseid's like, honestly, I'm impressed, Harley. You proved yourself worthy. So the fact of the matter is, controlling the Earth is yours. And then Harley's like, you know what? Honestly, like, I'm not really interested, you know, in the whole ruling the Earth thing. Like, Psycho was right. I'm not even really a supervillain. And I like that she basically breaks it down. Like, even over the course of the series, she's never really been a villain. Because it's like, well, I joined the tried to join the Legion of Doom mainly just to show up Joker, so it wasn't like out of evil, and I took down the Injustice Society out of revenge. So she's like, honestly, I'm not even like a villain. It's like, once again, she's borderline an anti-hero. So, and then he was like, well, this annoys and frustrates him, and so he's like, because of this, like, I will one day return to this planet and turn it into a scrap heap or something like that. And it's like, well, that's ominous. So I'm like, oh, I guess that's super future setup or whatever. And it's just like, he's like, Darkseid is leaving. And he just bounces. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then there's that moment between Harley and Ivy where it's just kind of like, it's like, you're my best friend, whether we're, you know, and I love you. Like the fact that whether we're chilling or whether we're killing, you know, people or whatever, it's like, as long as they're doing it together. And the fact of the matter is, yes, it might be messy and it might mess up their friendship forever, but, you know, she loves her and she's not going to deny that anymore. You know, she's not going to hide away how she feels. And it's like, the fact of the matter is, taking, you know, love is a risk, so why not kind of take a chance on it? I was like, oh, you know, it was very sweet and passionate to hear her say that. And then Kite Man wakes up and I'm like, oh, he literally, I was like, oh, you gonna hear any of that? No, he was literally unconscious the entire time. He's like, oh, what happened? Did my kiss work? And I'm like, oh, this is about to get awkward. Gets even more awkward when Psycho literally not just blasted to Kite Man and shit, he blasts it to the entire city of Gotham, like Alfred closing the curtains a little bit, but then peeking through, Joker being like, oh, she's just as limber as ever. And then King sharking Clayface being like, oh, this is going to fuck up the team dynamic. Also, I feel kind of bad because King Shark's teeth are still missing, so I'm curious to see what they, storyline-wise, what they do with that, because, you know, Wonder Woman ended up knocking out some of his teeth. I'm curious to, I mean, obviously, like, none of the Justice Leaguers saw that because I guess they're kind of still under the spell and everything. Gordon and Barbara, like, are covering each other's eyes about this, and Bane being like, oh, yeah, I knew that this was, I had a feeling there was some tension there. So it's like, oh, and there's just that awkward moment at the end, and it's just like all three of them looking at you. I'm like, oh, wait. And, of course, the episode has to end there. It's like, so the bad guy's been stopped, but it's like, so going into the season finale, because the next episode is going to be the season finale, it's like, it's going to be like figuring out this whole complicated thing, because obviously Kite Man loves Ivy, and she loves, I think in her own right, she does love Kite Man, but she definitely loves Harley, so I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, once again, love triangle situations like this, part of me kind of wants like a, I wish it could be a thing if all three of you could be together. That'd be a cool option. I don't know if that'd be an option they'll go down. It just, honestly, you kind of feel bad for Kite Man, but you're like, come on, Harley and Ivy, that's I think the better duo. But at the same time, you feel so bad about, so that's why I would kind of want it to be it's the me that never wants anyone to be heartbroken. Once again, about to get a little anime nerdish here. Anytime there's a harem situation in like a manga or an anime, I never want like there to be like, oh, like everyone has their number one waifu, right? I never want to be that dude that's like, oh, I just want you to be like, yes, like let's use Rosario plus Vampire. It's a situation of like Sukune, it's really Mocha. Everyone at the end of the series pretty much knows that's how he leans. He leans more towards Mocha. Even that's a whole complicated situation because of the whole inner and outer Mocha. That ended up being a whole thing in itself. Once again, I'm going on a huge tangent. I want everybody to be happy. So if it's kind of like everyone gets together type of situation, I'm 100% fine with that. And like I said, that's kind of a different circumstance because it definitely leans more one direction and every character kind of realizes it. But like for me, I would want Harley, Kite Man, and Ivy to kind of have like a three-way relationship. Is it going to work out like that? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what goes down in the season finale, because I'm sure that's going to be the crux of the episode, but it also makes you wonder, like, well, what else is going to go down? Like I said, I'm sure the city of Gotham's going to be repairing itself after all that. I'm really curious to see. Also, Sai is in a kind of a blender right now. It's not necessarily a blender. It's a, what is it? Whatever the case may be. I'm curious, like, what that's going to turn into. I'm curious to see what the future holds for this team after this, like, big reveal. Also, what's going to happen with Psycho, because, like, after this, like, he's not going to be part of the team anymore. So I'm like, are they going to find, like, a replacement? Like, it makes you wonder about stuff like that. Is he going to get locked up? Like I said, we'll ultimately have to wait and see where all this takes us going forward into the season finale. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.